Mike from Comprehensive Grants Management, and today I want to talk to you about your ROS eligibility for RAD developments. In the past, grant announcements released by HUD have been explicitly targeted at traditional public housing, including language that developments that were undergoing a RAD conversion were not eligible for those programs. With the push for RAD conversions, many housing authorities felt somewhat conflicted since it meant potentially losing funding for programs that they had been operating to serve the residents. Even though the RAD conversion impacted the management of the development, it was not impacting the residents themselves, and yet the residents would be the ones who would inevitably feel the sting of losing a program that was intended to serve them, and not necessarily the housing authority itself or the management. The residents are the targets of the program, but with the updating landscape of public housing and RAD conversions, a lot of residents would potentially be left out in the cold moving forward. HUD is finally getting around to updating this language and including some ability for eligibility for RAD developments of both project-based rental assistance and project-based voucher types. With the 2023 NOFO, there is eligibility for both RAD PBRA and PBV developments to be served by a ROS program. However, this is a work in progress from HUD, and as the language evolves, there are going to be some limitations as to which project-based developments can be served by a ROS program. Not all project-based rental assistance or all project-based voucher developments will be eligible to seek ROS funding. If you are a public housing authority or a multifamily owner, what does this mean for you with your ROS application? What this means is that for project-based rental assistance developments, these developments can only be served by multifamily applicants. A public housing authority cannot include PBRA developments in its ROS application on the HUD 52768. And likewise for project-based voucher developments or project-based voucher units, these can only be served by public housing authority applicants. So a multifamily owner cannot include PBV units in their ROS application on the HUD Form 52768. So please be mindful of your applicant type, your organizational status as you're submitting your ROS application, and which developments you are including on your application. And one final consideration, if you are intending to include project-based units in your developments to be served by a ROS application, whether you are a multifamily applicant or a public housing applicant, and whether you are including PBRA or PBV units, in any case, project-based units must have been traditional public housing units that was previously served by a ROS grant if you are to be considered eligible as a project-based unit moving forward. So again, the units that you intend to include on your application for your ROS grant, if you are including project-based units, these units must have been traditional public housing that was previously served by a ROS grant if they are going to be eligible project-based units moving forward for the 2023 ROS.